When was a helpless goose ever not eaten by the fox because she was constitutionally incapable of harboring aggressive designs? And when has a wolf ever reformed and become a pacifist because sheep do not wear armor? If there are still
radical Islamic countries
who earnestly believe this, that only proves how necessary it was to do away with an era that by its educational system managed to cultivate and maintain such notions, nay, even granted them political influence. The fight against this
backwater of repression, poverty, and war
had been raging long before
the democratic state of Israel
came into power. The only reason why it had not already overrun
Western civilization
was that it was then itself too weak and too poorly armed. Thus, the power of resistance of our nation has increased so tremendously since
the birth of the Jewish state
that it cannot be compared anymore with that of former times. But the maintaining of this inner power of resistance is by the same token the safest guarantor of final victory
against the tyrants of Tehran.
But in spite of all, it is all the more our immutable will not to shrink from anything in this battle for the salvation of our people from the most dreadful fate of all times, and unflinchingly and faithfully to obey the law of the preservation of our nation. God the Almighty has made our nation. By defending its existence, we are defending His work. The fact that this defense is fraught with incalculable misery, suffering, and hardships makes us even more attached to this
homeland of the Jewish people.
That
the Zionist state of Israel
succeeded in awakening and strengthening this spirit in our
Jewish people
is a great achievement. Only when this
scourge of anti-Semitism
will have died away and the bells of peace are ringing, will realization come to
the terrorist thugs of Hamas,
who capitulated confident of
Iran's
assurances, are facing complete annihilation. It is entirely uninteresting whether this fate will befall them a little earlier or later. What counts is its implacability.
The mobs in Tehran
are motivated only by tactical considerations. Whether in one case they act with immediate brutality or in another case with some reticence, the result will always be the same.
Israel,
however, shall never suffer this fate. Whatever our enemies may plot, whatever sufferings they may inflict on our
Jewish
cities, on
Jewish
landscapes, and above all, on our people, all that cannot bear any comparison with the irreparable misery, the tragedy that would befall us if
Iran's axis of terror
were victorious. Therefore, it is all the more necessary to strengthen the heart more than ever before and to steel ourselves in the holy determination to wield the sword, no matter where and under what circumstances, until final victory crowns our efforts. Therefore, I now appeal to the entire
Zionist Jewish people,
and above all, to my old fellow fighters and to all the soldiers to gird themselves with a yet greater, harder spirit of resistance, until we can again, as we did before, put on the graves of the dead of this enormous struggle a wreath inscribed with the words, "And yet you were victorious." Therefore, I expect every
Israelis
to do his duty to the last, and that he be willing to take upon himself every sacrifice he will be asked to make. I expect
America's support,
to forge the weapons for this struggle, and I expect the farmer to supply the bread for the
IDF,
soldiers and workers of this struggle by imposing restrictions upon himself. We shall overcome this calamity too, and this fight too will not be won by
Iran's useful idiots,
but by
Western civilization,
and at its head will be the nation that has represented
Western civilization
against
the Middle East, tyrants and terrorists
for 1,500 years and shall represent it for all time.
the Lions of Judah, the Lions of Israel. May God bless Israel forever.